drop, I ain't gotta preach. I just do what comes natural. 5-star, everything I see. Live lives, no apology. Take charge, no one can compete. I just do what comes natural.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of my immigration series. In this series, I'll basically talk about immigration related content, but surrounding the route that I took and just talking about my own journey and breaking it down for you guys so you can get an understanding of what I did, and hopefully that can help a lot of you guys out there who want to take this route to come here. So I'm trying to make the videos short so that you can get all the information that you need in a quick manner and then move on to the next episode. I feel like if they're short, it's easier for you to understand the content a little better than if it were supposed to be long. So hopefully I can actually do that, because if you are not new here, you know me and my talking. I'm Shanice and welcome to ShaniceTheV.I.B.E. I am a new immigrant who new immigrant or newcomer here in Saskatoon, Canada, the province of Saskatchewan. I migrated here last year. In 2 days, it will make officially 1 year since I've actually migrated to Canada. And how fitting it is to start my series just around that time. So today I'm gonna just dive into the pathway that I took to get here and just quickly summarize what it is, and hopefully it is something that you too can take advantage of. Okay, so I migrated to Canada through the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, SIMP. SIMP is the abbreviation for it, so if you hear me using that a lot, I'll put what it means on the screen so that if you're doing your own research, you know exactly what you are looking for. Now, this is the route that I took to come here. But let's go back a little bit about a little short history, right? So SIMP was launched in 1998. That's sometime way back. As a matter of fact, I never even knew it was launched back so far. But it was launched in a way to help the economy and labor market, because at the time Saskatchewan was very slowly developing, and in order to kind of help that or aid that or change that, they created this stream so that it would be easier for persons to come here as new immigrants, and automatically that would fix the economy here in the province and the labor market. So that's in a nutshell why it was created. And even now, if you go and do your research, you will find that Saskatchewan is still a developing province in comparison to some of the other provinces that are out there. And so it takes some getting used to, but you will see that. But it's actually definitely worth a try. So I would definitely recommend that you give it a try. So let's jump into SIMP a little bit more. Saskatchewan is one of Canada's prairie provinces with a vibrant culture and welcoming people. And as you do your research, you'll hear that a lot, that the people of Saskatchewan is very welcoming and polite. So SIMP was created in a way to help candidates to apply for permanent residency through the federal government by nominating them. And then they did this through 3 major categories. So I'm just going to go ahead and list those 3 major categories for you. So the 3 categories are international skilled workers, and then you have Saskatchewan experience and business immigration. Now, these 3 categories also have subcategories that people can apply under. I will not go into all the categories, to be honest, because that will take a lot of time. I'm just going to mainly focus on the one that I took, the subcategory I came here through, and I'm going to mention one additional category. So let's jump into that a little bit more. So I'm just going to talk about two subcategories under the first category, which is international skilled workers. So there are two subcategories under those that I will talk about. The one I came through, which is the express entry subcategory, and I'm also going to touch a little bit on the occupation in demand category, which is a subcategory under that category as well. So I'm just going to briefly talk about it, but just to note, these subcategories are open to persons inside or outside of Canada. So whether you're here or outside, whether you're a student here or whether you're in Canada for whatever other reasons, you can, once you have status in Canada, you can definitely opt to try to get your permanent residency through one of these categories. And if you're outside, definitely you can do that, because of course I was outside. I'm going to talk about a little bit of the requirement for the express entry subcategory. Okay, so in order to be qualified, or one of the requirements for this subcategory is that you must have a profile. You must have a profile in the express entry pool with a profile number in a job seeker validation code. If you do not know what express entry is, then definitely you have some researching to do before you even get to this video. I can't break that down right now, but one click on Google and you will definitely be up to date in about what the express entry pool is. So after you have your profile already there with your CRS score, that's basically the points that you get after you've created your express entry profile with your qualification, your work experience, your language test, and all other requirements. That's your CRS score, right? Just vaguely jumping into that. Then after you have that, then you will need to score a minimum of 60 points in the SIMP assessment grade. So when you have to create a profile of interest on the SIMP website, and you're gonna do the same thing as you would do when you're creating your express entry. You're gonna put your qualification, your work experience, your language score, and your assessment for your qualification. If you have family here, you're going to put that there. That is a total of 20 points, by the way. And you're gonna do all of that, and it's going to tell you how out of 110 you get. You need a minimum of 60 points in order to be qualified to be nominated. So you need to have at least that in order to even have a chance of, I guess, getting nominated. You need to provide a valid language test result, whether it be IELTS or SELPIP. Again, you can definitely look up those to get a better understanding. I'm not really breaking down all of these things in this particular video. Also need to have completed at least 1 year post-secondary qualification. If you're doing it from inside of Canada, it can be like here in Canada, but of course it can also be outside of Canada, because I applied for mine based on my bachelor's, my bachelor's in education, early childhood education. That's what I used as my means of qualification. So you can you can have a degree or a diploma outside of Canada, but it must be assessed through the international assessment, which is WES. I use WES, WES. Hopefully I remember to put what that means, which they assess or evaluate your degree outside of Canada to see if it is equivalent to the qualification here. So now, in terms of qualification, you need to have at least 1 year work experience in the field that you're qualified in for the past 10 years. So for the past 10 years, you must at least have 1 year experience in the field that you're. So for example, if I applied with my bachelor's in education, in early childhood education, right? I could not have applied. Say I did my bachelor's, but I went to work in another field. for the past 10 years, I've never done any form of work experience in early childhood education. I could not have applied. So you need at least 1 year work experience for the past 10 years in the field that you are qualified in. You can also have a 2-year work experience in a skilled trade in the past 5 years. So you can either have the 1 year work experience in the field that you have the qualification in, or you can have at least 2 years work experience in a skilled trade in the past 5 years, or at least 1 year work experience in Canada for the past 3 years. So one thing to note, you must also ensure that you have work experience in a high demand NOC. So basically, NOC is basically a digital code that is assigned to different professions. Now, you want to research, you can just type in whatever job description you do or whatever you do in Google and say, what is my NOC? And it will tell you the digital code that is associated with your occupation. Then you can go ahead and research if it is in high demand. So for example, my NOC code as an early child educator was, I don't remember now, to be honest. But what I did to find out at the time was basically say, what is the NOC code for early child educator? And Google was able to provide that for me. And then of course I typed in, did NOC code a demand in Saskatchewan? And then it was able to tell me that as well. So you can do the same to kind of see how much of an advantage you have. Okay, another thing that is important is when you decide what occupation or what profession you are going to use based on your qualification and your work experience, you need to also find out if there is a requirement for a license for your profession. If you are applying with a NOC or profession or an occupation, whichever resonates with you, that requires you to have a license to practice in Saskatchewan, then this is a must, you need to apply for that before you are nominated. You can go ahead and create your profile, you can go ahead and be and receive your invitation to apply, but you will not, and I'm going to repeat that, you will not be nominated without having the license. I know, because if you watch my video where I share my story, I was rejected initially, and it was because I did not have the license, right? So it's for my profession as an early child educator, I need to have a license to practice here in Canada, in Saskatchewan. And I had to get that. The second time around, I had to apply for that from outside of Canada and receive it in order for them to give me the nomination. So you want to definitely check that before, and once you realize that you need a license, then you want to Google the steps to getting that license outside of the country and get right on it. Yeah. Another thing you need to have proof of the settlement fund and a settlement plan. Now, the settlement fund requirement would be the same as the federal government. So based on the size of your family, that is what determines how much money you would need to show to Canada. So if you're a family of one, then you need to, then of course you would go and research, because this changes every year. Every April, this price changes. So I do not know out of my head right now what the price is. At the time that I was applying, a family of two was 16,000 something. When I just started this journey, it was just 14,000, and that kept increasing because it took me a long time to get here. And then a family of three was 18,000, and that quickly changed to 20,000. Initially, I'd applied for a family of two, which was my son and I, and then later on in my application, I added my husband. I will definitely share that story in another episode. The requirement for a settlement plan is needed, but this comes later on when you are submitting your documents. They want to see, because a lot of persons come here and they leave. The province is known for that. As I said to you, it's a underdeveloped province and not everybody can deal with that. as well as you might come here and your job is in demand, but then your partner's job is not in demand, or your job might be in demand, but you're not getting paid sufficient for it. People leave for different reasons. Also, it might be a case where the weather conditions are harsh in this province as opposed to a province like Ontario or British Columbia, stuff like that. So a lot of people cannot deal with the cold, and so they opt to leave to go to another province. Just some of the reasons. People have different reasons why they leave. So of course, the government of Saskatchewan, they want to be sure, or they want to feel secure that you are going to come and you're going to stay. And that means that they would have meet their ultimate goal, which is to continue to build the economy and the labor market here. If they give you the nomination, you come and you leave, that's not really helping the province. So that's why a settlement plan is so important. They want you to basically tell them how you plan to settle in the province, and that will let them feel more confident that you will stay. So that comes later on in your application, but it is very important to them that you present that. I will probably do another total video talking about what I did to write my settlement plan. Also, you need to pay a non-refundable application fee of $350. So that is that's what you would have to pay for your application, and as I said, it's non-refundable. So in my case, when I applied the first time and I got rejected, all of that money went down the drain, and I had to do that all over again. Another thing I don't want to miss with your proof of settlement fund, it is very important that you have that fund in your account 3 months before you are invited to apply for the nomination. If you do not have it in your account, the exact amount, you are going to be rejected. They are very strict and particular when it comes on to settlement fund. So if you are planning to take this route, way ahead of even creating your profile, I would suggest that you have that money in the bank and you do not touch it. If you even take money out and put it back in, they will reject you. Again, that was my second reason for getting rejected the first time. So it's very important that you ensure that that money is in the account and not touched. You can have more, but never less. So for the next subcategory that I'm going to touch on, you will basically need all of what I mentioned for the previous one, except for these additional things. So you must have an offer for permanent residency and full-time employment in Saskatchewan. You must also have a valid SIMP approval job letter. Also, your job offer must be in the same NOC that you have your training in. So whatever qualification you have, the job offer that you're getting in Saskatchewan must meet the NOC requirements, right? So you can't have a bachelor's in education, but you're getting a job offer as a secretary, or you're getting a job offer as a medical assistant. You will not be qualified for that subcategory. So the category I just mentioned was the employment offer subcategory, right? This category now, so I'm correcting myself, the occupation in demand was basically created for occupations that are in demand for Canada, for Saskatchewan, but these persons might not have a job offer. So I want to correct myself. So I'm basically touching on 3 subcategories instead of 2. 1, the express entry, which I listed in detail, the employment offer subcategory, which I just listed, the extra 3 things that you need to have, and now I'm just going to talk about the occupation in demand. Now, again, you need all of what I mentioned in the express entry subcategory. It's just that what Saskatchewan did they have created a list of occupations that are in demand. So they need people for this, but these people are not getting a job offer, or these people might not have an express entry profile, but they are in demand, and so they can apply under this stream. You do not need a job offer for this category, but your occupation or your NOC code must be on the list. To find the list, you can go on the website, the SIMP website. So look for occupation in demand, and based on your NOC, you match it up to see if it's in that list, and then you can apply under this category. So persons outside of Canada can apply for this, or if you have legal status here in Canada, whether you are visiting. If you are a visitor here and you have not reached that 6 months, you have legal status here, you can definitely apply for that under that category, as well as if you are a student here, you can also apply for that category if you meet those requirements. So just a little correction, I mentioned that they have a list of occupation that qualify. I'm going to correct myself. They have a list of occupation that is excluded from applying under this category. If your NOC is in the list of excluded occupation, you cannot apply. If you look on that list and you do not see your NOC, that means your NOC is one of those occupations that are in demand, and you can go right ahead and apply through that stream. Again, all the previous requirements for the express entry subcategory is what you would need, and just make sure that your occupation is in demand and you go right ahead and apply for that. Okay, so as I try to conclude the video, let me just quickly list some of the other subcategory under international worker. I will not go into it, I'm just going to list the names. So they are hard to fill skill pilot, international healthcare worker, EOI, Saskatchewan Tech Talent Pathway. Now let me quickly list the subcategory under the category of Saskatchewan experience, and they are skilled workers with existing work permit category, semi-skilled agricultural worker with an existing work permit, health professional subcategory, long haul truck driver, Saskatchewan student stream. Now in the final category, I'm going to list the subcategories under this, and that is Saskatchewan business immigration. The subcategories are the entrepreneur stream, international graduate entrepreneur stream, farm owner or operator stream. I hope this really helped, as I can't go through all the subcategory, but if you go online on Google, you can definitely, if I mention any other category or subcategory that seems like something that you're qualified for, then definitely jump on Google and get some more information and get right on it and apply for that subcategory. I hope this video has been informative. I hope it really helped you to understand a little bit more about SIMP and to see if you are a fit for this route to come to Canada. If you are, I encourage all of you to definitely get on it and apply. Saskatchewan is fast growing, and they're still in need of new immigrants, and they're still in need of laborers for their labor market. So I would definitely recommend that you jump on that and get on one of these streams outside of the common school route and see if you qualify. I am looking forward to seeing a lot of you here. Why not? You know, the more the merrier. Okay, so I will see you in the next episode, episode 2 of my immigration series, where I talk a little bit more of how you actually create your express entry profile of it. Not express entry, your SIMP profile of interest. So look forward to that next episode. Also, if you are only here for immigration related content, which I hope you're not only here for that, you can definitely look on my profiles in the playlist. I have created a playlist called immigration content for you to find these kind of contents easier. I will see you in the next episode. Remember to subscribe to the channel and to share this video with somebody who might be interested in migrating here. Leave a comment, tell me if this was helpful, or ask any questions, or tell me what other videos you would like to see. Definitely leave a thumbs up on this video if you like the content, or if it was informative, or if it helped you in any way. I'm Shanice. I will see you in the next one. Stay positive as always. Until next time. Bye bye.